Knock, knock. Well,
Who's there?
no, well, yes, that's the usual response. But the truth is, I guess, well, we should say by now, I guess you already know, it's your friendly neighborhood anchors on your #1 breakfast show. Knock, knock. Get it? Yeah, rubbish.
Well, the show is Wake Up Nigeria. Whether you're opening the door or not, we are pretty sure we are in your home already at the premium family entertainment breakfast show. And there is no need to check your television sets. All this amazing wonder is real. And we do it just for you.
Yeah, talking about real, we don't do it alone because, hey, we are always, well, not just a duo, sometimes a trio, sometimes a quartet, sometimes 4 people.
Okay.
And today, of course, we have in the kitchen with us Mr. Mike Mesiketo. How you doing, man?
Drum rolls.
What?
Ode.
Yeah, I think I do that in the morning. Tomatoes, onions,
I
everything.
don't eat them in the morning or anything. I just like to chew on them. I love tomatoes, raw tomatoes.
Well, tell you something, good to know that you're being healthy this morning, Mike. And, of course, a healthy dose of everything entertainment is coming your way. We all know
What
about
are you feeling like this morning? You're on a roll,
Listen, when life gives you lemonades, when life gives... You made me ruin it.
Tomatoes, healthy, lemons. Hey, what's next?
Hey, we say lemonades, make lemonades out of it. Maybe you should sprinkle a bit of vodka.
You see something, guys. So, Mary, you're the one that said you love tomatoes, right?
Yeah.
So imagine tomatoes and onions just at the same time.
Bro, that's bliss.
Yes, exactly.
I love tomatoes and onions. What are you talking about?
Both of you are bandits.
Dude,
You're bandits.
pour sardines inside tomatoes and onions.
No.
And then just fry it for like a minute or two. Then eat it with bread.
No.
Gosh.
Not the sardine.
Bliss.
Not the sardine.
I remember, very fast, I remember watching this Rowan Atkinson's Mr. Bean where he puts coffee, puts milk, then he put hot water.
And then he jiggled.
That's what it sounds like now.
Seriously?
That's what you sound like now.
In any case, Tuesday editions are always very fantastic. You left all the work up until today, so it's going to be a very, very big day for you. So get already on your work because we're here to help you make it a very seamless operation all through the day.
Yes, we aim to get better and better and better with every edition. And I ask you to stay tuned for the next, next 1 hour, 45 minutes. Less than 45 minutes now, I must say.
Yes,
My name
indeed.
is Mary Bashua Alimi.
And my name is Mazino Appeal. Remember, you can use the hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC across all the social media platforms to be a part of the best breakfast show on Nigerian television.
Absolutely. Now, remember, you can also watch us live from absolutely anywhere across the world, okay? You could watch us through our mobile app, which you can download from the Google Play Store or iOS. You can also watch us on GOTV channel 16 and on UHF band 49 on the terrestrial platform, okay?
And you should follow us across all social media platforms, Facebook, yeah, YouTube too, Instagram, Threads, everything. We are at TVC Connect. It's that simple. Now, let's let you guys know what we have coming your way for the show here today.
Yes, joining us to talk about skincare, a form of self-care, I like the way that sounds, is Kesiena Anyebe, the founder of Inspired by You Company, a wellness company. We'll be looking forward to that conversation. We're actually keeping our fingers crossed.
And for a musical performance, we have Akinola Oluwatosin Stephen. He's also known as Stevane, a recording and performing artist, exceptionally versatile, and he will be performing the song Arabami.
Now, Zainab J. Adobayero is a first-time filmmaker, but always been a movie buff and lover of literature. Born and raised in Kano, a documentary focusing on her father, the former emir of Kano, seemed a natural progression going into the creative medium.
And Babatunde Hafsa Olayemi. Now, she's a female biker that recently accomplished a remarkable solo ride covering an impressive 5,920 kilometers throughout the entire northern states of Nigeria and the Federal Capital Territory. This distance is equivalent to actually crossing the entire West African region. Well, she joins us today for a very interesting discussion on her experience. Welcome, Tuesday edition. Good to have you guys here.
Because you're a biker and you understand what she has done.
All right. Well, tell you what, yeah. Now, yesterday night, I woke up yesterday at about 11 p.m.
Yeah.
And I went downstairs and I had to do myself a midnight meal. And I decided to do...
Sandwich, you know?
No. I had myself a couple of noodles. But I realized something. Everything seems to be shrinking. And I researched this. It's called shrinkflation.
Shrinkflation.
Shrinkflation. Came in this morning, wanted to have my coffee done. And I got out my little sachet of milk. It was like, there was nothing in it. Exactly. Everything is getting shrinked. Why, I wonder?
It's incidentally, it has always been the norm for quite a very long time.
Yes.
Always, everything that started, you know, for us, it used to be quality control. We used to say, oh, Nigeria, we don't maintain standards. But now with things happening, you try to understand, okay, people want to keep the price same. But if you're going to keep the price the same and then the cost of
have to
production
compromise.
goes up, then you have to reduce the content.
But which would you rather have? Reduction in content or let me pay more?
So it's a double-edged sword.
I think it's the same thing, really.
It's a double-edged sword because at the end of the day, someone who cannot afford something more expensive would still be able to at least have a taste of whatever that item is. The one I find really shocking is noodles. The noodles you had, for example. They've actually progressively increased prices, yet still managed to shrink.
The product.
Oh, okay.
So that one hasn't made sense to me.
So maybe
I'm going to be very factual.
Yeah, maybe
about it.
both ways. So you are a business person. Do you do business, or do you get products and you sell and all of that? But when you have to produce, at times it can be challenging. And
Yes.
I have one or two people I know who are producing. You buy, maybe you're doing something, biscuits. You buy sugar, maybe a bag at 5,000 naira, and now
A bag?
as in back then, far back then, and then
Guess
now
how much it is?
it's now like 20 something.
40.
Oh, look,
40
something.
and that's one
a bag
ingredient.
of sugar.
A bag
is
of
now
sugar.
40,000.
And that's what people used to buy like 5,000-10,000 naira some few, maybe a few years back.
Okay,
Let's not even
so
talk about flour.
for the product makers, how about you spend less on packaging and keep the product itself?
Mazino,
High five,
Flesh
high
and
five.
Blood did not reveal this.
Packaging, yeah.
Man.
So there's this Nigerian thing about packaging, and I'm like, you have such a beautiful package, but your content is, it's just mediocre. Meanwhile, someone with very, very good quality stuff, because the person's packaging is dull, Nigerians will be like, this one is a cheap product. It's not good though.
Well, in any case, what's your experience? Let us know throughout the entire show. We'll be reading your comments. Hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC. Good morning once again and welcome. It's Wake Up Nigeria. This, however, is the news. My name is Mazino Appeal. Now we begin from the National Assembly, where the Speaker of the House of Representatives has appealed to resident doctors in the country to put their planned strike on hold for 2 weeks to enable the intervention of the Parliament. Speaker Tajuddin Abbas made the appeal at a meeting with the leadership of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors. National Assembly correspondent Joke Adisa reports.
Over time, resident doctors in Nigeria have been at daggers drawn with the government over pressing labor issues. In May, the association called its members out on a 5-day warning strike to protest unmet demands. The warning strike was in the aftermath of the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the government and the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors. The doctors later issued a 2-week ultimatum to the authorities, criticizing the government for not keeping to the letters of the MOU. This meeting, led by the Speaker, is to find means of averting another strike in the nation's hospitals. While he understands the agitations of the doctors, his appeal is that they put the planned strike on hold while the Parliament intervenes.
We must approach these issues with an open mind and guided by the fact that revenues available to the government may not fully meet our demands. Therefore, we must find a middle ground that satisfies everyone without prejudice to the 2023 Memorandum of Understanding.
The meeting goes into a closed-door session, which ends after about 2 hours. At the end of the meeting, NAD President Innocent Orji says government has failed to keep to timelines outlined in the MOU.
We have gotten so many promises. In fact, even last week, we got a promise for us to wait for a day or two. Now we are being asked again to wait for 2 weeks. We are leaders of the association, and we are going to communicate this request to our members. Of course, they take their decision.
Nevertheless, he says the leadership will take the Speaker's plea to his members.
The intervention of the Speaker is expected to douse all tension and work out modalities for meeting the resident doctors' demands, such that the average Nigerian in need of affordable health care does not suffer untold hardship. Joke Adisa, TVC News, Abuja.
In foreign news now, Israeli MPs have passed into law a highly controversial bill despite mass protests which aims to thwart it. The law removes the power of the Supreme Court to overrule government actions it considers unreasonable. It is the first to be approved in a series of bitterly contested reforms aimed at curbing the power of courts. The planned reforms have triggered some of the biggest protests in Israel's history, with opponents warning they imperil Israel as a democracy. The government argues that the measures are necessary to conduct, or rather to correct, an imbalance in power which has seen the courts increasingly intervene in political decisions in recent decades. The so-called reasonableness bill was approved by 64 votes to 0 after the opposition boycotted the final vote. The vote brings to a head month of turmoil, with Israel's president warning political leaders on Monday that the country was in a state of national emergency. On Monday morning, protests and protesters blocking a boulevard outside the Knesset were sprayed with water cannons and pulled off the road with police amid a cacophony of noise from drums, whistles, and also air horns. So stay tuned, there's more coming away inside of Wake Up Nigeria. And you are welcome. It's time for What's Up and About. And we're going to be taking something from off of the weekend that we couldn't talk about yesterday, but we decided to talk about today because it was very heated, and it's still going on now because it's causing a thread on threads. Thread on threads.
This guy.
Sorry, it's just rubbish. Again. But over the weekend, there was a thread of on Twitter following Adekunle's post about his new track, and where someone reached out and said, hey, you should have had Brymo, and everybody loves Brymo. Brymo's like, you know, the best guy you can have on a hook for any track. Well, he used to be, and then became Benson. But right after that, I think Brymo, what, did I say something wrong? No, it's a fact, isn't it? But then...
For those who don't know, Benson, Buju.
Yeah. Now, Brymo copied that message that referred to him and made a post under, and I'm going to read that post. Now, remember that this is traceable back to Adekunle Gold's post, initial post, where Brymo says, although AG reached out to me later, I like to think that he didn't check it again by will or fate, because I turned down same request many years before. I also did the same with Simi, said I wanted to get intimate to create intensity. I didn't know they were together, of course, at the time. Now, he's referring to the fact that he actually wanted an intimate relationship with Simi so that they could create art together, and he wanted to see the product that art would bring out. He was curious as to what that would turn out to be like. He also referred to the fact that he not only wanted that with Simi, but also other female artists.
Yeah, he particularly mentioned
exactly.
Yeah, the Ghanaian singer.
I'm going to reserve what I have to say. I was wondering what you guys thought about this.
I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay.
But first, let's have Mike tell us
But,
his opinion.
these guys. But now I read the first statement. It doesn't now seem as bad as I thought it, because actually I saw the post, but I feel like I was too embarrassed for someone talking about somebody else's wife in that way. So I was so embarrassed to go into the details. I was like, no, I don't, because I wouldn't like somebody talking about my wife that way. I don't care about what happened in the past, but don't bring it out in this way. But from the way he constructed the statement, it might not seem, it might seem not so... I don't know. Read it again. Read that last part.
The last part, again,
he said something like,
he turned down the request many times to collaborate, but I also did the same with others. But he said he wanted to be intimate to create intensity. So he's sticking to the art.
Yeah.
But is that an excuse, however?
It's not, I don't think it's...
He followed it with a voice note, by the way.
Yes. So
the voice note might have, if you don't read this, the voice note came off as prideful, you know, seen, but I still have reservations, however.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So
I do have
here's what I think. First off, Simi's married to Adekunle Gold.
Yeah.
This post was initiated by Adekunle referring to his music, and then, like I said, followed through, people referred to Brymo. Now, would it not have behooved, it would have behooved him not to make, let's just say timing. It's the wrong timing. Morals aside, I understand where he's coming from. If you want to create art and you're such a Puritan and you want it, you know, there's something called method acting. Method actors do that a lot. A lot of best actors are method actors, and they want to embody that personality. So even in their regular life, they're being that character that
Imagine
they
if you
want
wanted to talk in the song, if you wanted to sing about making love to a lady,
Yes.
You have to have
and
experienced
singing with the lady,
Yes.
then there is
Exactly.
more.
Yes, there's
Exactly.
more connection.
Morals aside, I'm not saying that I espouse to it morally, but I'm saying that I understand it. But to now make such a bold statement that can be traced back to a post made by the person's husband is utterly disrespectful.
So the issue here has to do with where the post was made, and many people saying, why was the post made in the first instance? Like, couldn't he have just kept that part out of it? Why did he have to mention it?
Yeah.
Just as you said, unfortunately, and this is very unfortunate, in art, these things happen. It's unfortunate, but in art, these things happen.
You're talking morally now.
Yes, some artists feel the need to. If you even listen to some musicians, some of the greatest collaborations are between people that have been intimate before. Look at Ike and Tina Turner; they made magic when they were together.
They also tried to make babies.
Maybe Brymo had been dreaming of doing some, replicating that. And when he saw Simi, he was like, "Wow, she's going to be perfect." Unfortunately for him, she said no.
Yeah, or fortunately.
Well, unfortunately for him, she said no. Whether or not she was in a relationship with Adekunle Gold is none of his business, but she has a right to say no, and she did. And so he said, maybe with the kind of voice you have and what I had in mind, our collaboration will not work, so I'm sorry I can't work with you. And everybody moved on with their lives. The issue now is, people are saying, why are you still referring to it? Are you bitter? Are you envious of her success? That's where the problem is now.
Why did it have to come up at all?
At all.
If
So,
you are
but
not
yeah, but you
so-
see, if we're looking at it now, if nothing happened between them, right?
Nothing.
So a man could also put that as a feather and say it's a mark of pride.
Some people are
Look at
saying
it that
that
way.
as well, yes. That
You
it
know,
means
okay,
that
nothing happened. Okay, he just made known his mind, and she stuck to not doing it. That's a good thing.
Now,
doesn't mean
if
that
you
women
look at
will
it that
actually
way,
do that
there's a-
to achieve that goal of
Oh yes,
creating that
we've seen it with
intensity.
skit makers.
Yes,
skit
doesn't
makers.
mean-
It was a thing last year when we heard that skit makers would want to have kind of knowledge of.
there was one in particular. I'm going to mention
Yes.
the name. I'm trying to. It's Bayou.
It's Bayou,
It's
exactly.
Bayou, yeah.
Came into the light, so it became big with
Big, yeah.
skit makers. We're going to feature a girl. I know a lot of them would, in quote, or sexualize women and all of that. And so those women, they will have those in relationships with them.
I may be wrong, but I do not think that's the same thing with Brymo Zono.
I know. I'm
So
not saying
I
yeah.
think
It can
for
be mistaken
Brymo,
for.
So for those ones that's sex for favors. For those ones. But in this case, he was trying to get it done for achieving
For
something
instance,
with his music.
let's just
it's
say,
crazy,
let's
but
just say,
people do
okay,
it.
wait, let's just say, for
It's
instance,
It's a
unfortunate.
gray area.
in a skit, yes,
Very grey.
in a skit, yeah. Also, for instance, in a skit, like we've seen many other skits, you know, when you are, what they call it now, when you know,
Objectifying women.
yeah, was it when Mr. Macaroni does that? Oh,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
all that stuff and all of that. And that skit maker might say, it's because of the creative content. You could, if he says it's the creative content that he wants to have intimacy with the person, so that when they create that skit, they can understand.
feel it
So
when you're seeing it.
you understand. But what I'm saying is that, yeah, for the fact that she didn't succumb to his desires, as it were, in some ways, if you flip it the other way, it's some way. Hey, she didn't do it. Okay.
Now, yeah, she didn't do it. And then look at what
I don't know,
happened.
yeah,
For a
it's-
very
you
long
know-
time, the industry thought Fauza and Simi had something going
Yeah.
on. Why? That intensity that
They had
Brymo
together-
wanted to create.
They-
with Phoebe,
they created
they
without
created
even
it
intimacy.
Without intimacy.
Exactly.
So, Fauza and Simi were able to get that intensity.
But Brymo insists
remem-
that he needed that kind of relationship to have that kind of creativity. Now, here's the thing, yeah. I believe that while it's a gray area, and while I understand where he's coming from an artistic point of view, I also think that should that have happened, or should we acquiesce, or should we say, it's okay? Should we? No, it's
No,
okay.
it doesn't make it right.
It opens the door to much more vile instances.
Yeah,
If you
it
ask
doesn't
me,
make it
because it seems like socially we might justify it. It's already been tagged sex for collaboration, if I'm not mistaken. Sex for collaboration.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that already gives you a connote that we've had sex for grades, sex for this, sex for favors. Now, sex for collaboration, you can already see where it's...
Sex for favor, sex for collaboration happens in almost every industry.
So you see,
unfortunately.
you see.
That's why I keep using the word unfortunate, because some people don't even see anything bad in it.
And
it's sad.
like you said, it's our morals because of as Africans. In a lot of
Yes.
places, there is not bad or right. It's a medium of exchange.
Yeah.
Same way there was a particular point we used to trade by barter for in society. Look at Holland, Netherlands, for instance. Over there,
Practically
it is
legal.
practically, it is a medium of exchange. I have this, you have this, let's go. Nothing, it's legal.
But just imagine
So,
if
but
that happened.
because of our traditions,
Doesn't mean this is how he would have said. I remember when Simi and I made the song that was great. And, oh my God.
Listen, yo, tell us what you think. Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. We'd like to know. We'll be back. Let's take a break. And welcome, still Wake Up Nigeria, and of course, time for the dailies. Let's let you know what you can find if you decide to pick one up today. I'm not doing it alone. Of course, I have Mary, Bashra, Alimi, all three of them in the house here with me.
Seriously?
Serious.
Everybody's good to be here. Let's take a look at the papers.
Alrighty, so let's get started. This morning we're going to be starting from the Daily Times. Not the most exciting headlines on the Daily Times, but it'll get more exciting as we go. Big one that hits you first: Nigerians living on keg of gunpowder. Obasanjo knocks Tinubu's economic policies. Many will ask, how else? Who would have done any different? What would have happened if it was the other way around and the other parties won? Plenty to read from when you grab the Daily Times this morning. Also, under the photo story, appeal courts. Yes, thank you very much. OK's sack of all company directors.
Wahala.
Many will say it's about time, but what will be the fallout of that one? Unknown gunmen unleashed terror at Kagara Emirates, and at the top of the daily, FCTA demolished more buildings in Abuja. This has been something that has been talked about for the past 2 months. The demolitions are still continuing, however. The reasons seem to be rather concrete, but what about the measures taken to help alleviate the people who are, in quote, victims? Grab a copy of that paper and see what you might think of.
That's what they say about due diligence. If you're going to buy a plot of land for 5 million naira, I know it's tough because we don't have this lawyer mentality in Nigeria, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to actually pay a lawyer, even if it's 1% of that, that's about 50 to 100,000, to get the due diligence done. Is this land supposed to be sold?
Many of the complaints from the victims, in quote once again, is that they had that in place, due diligence. These lands were bought from very accredited sources, even sometimes the government. And here there's a roundabout 180 turn, and then their houses are being demolished with no provision.
Yeah, I know in those kind of cases, who represent the government? Could be greedy people who are working in government offices. So at the end of the day, you're right. It's just an unfortunate occurrence.
Very unfortunate.
Very.
You have the Punch newspaper.
Yes, I do have the Punch newspaper, and it's talking about subsidy pain. That's the big one. Labour talks tough. ASU protesters condemn relief plans. Now, SANU, ASU say full subsidy unintelligently removed. NLC meets today. TUC rejects 5% telecom tax, planned tuition hike. Kwara Ogun roll out palliatives.
A lot happening.
Okay, palliatives, okay. And then here, down here, we see supervisors, invigilators selling WAEC questions online, arrested on trial. That's coming from the WAEC boss. Pregnant women, children among Ondo tanker fire victims. That's coming from an eyewitness. Now, 3 Osun students hospitalized as gunmen open fire on barber shop. Here we also have Navy won't stop burning vessels ferrying stolen crude. Now, that one has been something people have been talking about for a while now. Why will you burn it? But then when you think about the fact that these things are illegal, you try as much as possible to put measures in place. But if you put the measures in place and they are not respected, it's probably time to go hard.
I remember 3 weeks ago, it was I and Mike who were having the dailies, who were doing the dailies, and I asked the same question about why did we have to destroy it?
Yeah.
What are the consequences or the repercussions from destroying the tank? Whether it's economically or, guess what, environmentally. You can't just burn fuel.
Yeah.
These are arguments not mine. These are arguments that people have carried and bandied about since. And there are also certain questions regarding the authenticity of that vessel itself.
Being burned, is there still fuel in it?
Exactly.
Or is someone making money?
Exactly. That was.
We're not questioning characters here, but we're just saying one last thing that caught my eye: forex crisis. Passengers groan as foreign airlines hike fares. That began last week
in Nigeria.
In Nigeria, of
in
course.
Nigeria, because there are proven reports of you being able to get same transits outside the country far cheaper.
Yeah.
Crazy instances here. Let's move on now to the Guardian newspaper. Big headline: Made in Nigeria, smartphones fumble as monthly importation hits 50 billion naira.
Yes, importation
Everybody,
of parts.
yes, everybody must use a phone these days. There is a chart here showing the breakdown of critical metals in a smartphone and details of these specific metals. And if you read the article, you'd find the sources. And some of these sources are very interesting, quite frankly, if you get down to the bottom end of it all. At the bottom of that chart, you find this one: mass burial. Amnesty International tackles Lagos government on identity of NSAS victims. This was bound to happen, as many people argued, since after it came out that I think monies were given for mass burial of 103 victims. Who these victims were, where these happened.
The government has come out to clarify that just about 2 of them were around the Lekki Toll Gate area. In fact, and those 2 were not even related. One suffered from blunt force trauma because the speaker, I believe, fell on his head, while the other also had some kind of accident. So the government is insisting nobody died around the Lekki toll gates, but then all these people were people from different areas, some in Agege, you know, during
With all the
protest,
different little protests
but
going on.
The government insists that there was none directly involved with that particular protest at the Lekki toll gate.
Well, grab a copy. You might find more information in there. There's more on the front page for The Guardian. Akpabio eyes constitutional role for traditional rulers as Abbas commits to restructuring, and tribunal nullifies LP candidates election, declares PDP's Elumelu winner. And finally, for The Guardian, petrol subsidy making palliatives work for the people. Did you have something generally spoken about the 8,000 naira palliatives?
Yeah, so last Wednesday, there were reports that the government has said, you know what, let's pause on this possibility of 8,000 naira. We're going to find a way to put this palliative out to people instead of the cash way. But people are still talking about the 8,000 naira palliative. So it does seem like there's a disconnect. Many people are not aware of these developments.
Yeah.
And then to touch back on the phone issue, I just wanted to mention the fact that lithium was recently discovered in Nasarawa.
Oh, yes.
So that's that might be a form of aid to phone.
That is akin to child labor in China, is the thing, because the people who actually labor to extract or mine these, they're not the better for it.
Yeah.
There are health implications, economic implications, so many things, and at the end, they're none the richer.
Yeah.
Because it seems exploitative. So what's going to come of this discovery is a question that we really need to look into. Unfortunately, we can't take more than we have already. Thank you very much, Mary. Very great insight. Did you just call me Mike?
I said absolutely my pleasure.
Oh, okay. I thought you said absolutely Mike. Don't.
Absolutely Mike in the kitchen.
Mike is indeed in the kitchen. Mike, they're mistaking our name for each other now. What's going on here?
Nah, they laugh. We busy here. We worry now.
Brymo's cousin.
Back to sender. All right, good morning. We're here in the kitchen. And, of course, I've got Chef Walia. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. Fine.
All right, good. So I love what we have here. Personally, I personally love what we have here. So this is a riot act. I'm reading out to every person in the studio this morning. Chef Walia, what are we doing this morning?
We're having geese dodo. Geese dodo. So we are pairing it with white rice.
This is the healthiest food ever. Dodo and gizzard. Geese dodo. Wonderful. Let's take a look at the ingredients. What do we have here?
So we have our pepper mix.
Okay.
We have tomato, scotch bonnet, which is rodo.
Okay.
And then pepper, canned pepper, which is bawa in Yoruba, and our onions.
So what is here? That's what is here, right?
Yes.
This.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
So we have our boiled gizzard.
Oh.
So we have our rice, washed rice. So we have our seasoning and spices.
Okay. And then, of course...
so we have our plantain.
Okay.
So our cooking oil
okay,
for frying.
For frying.
So we have our tomato and spring onions.
Spring onions,
and
okay.
These are bell pepper, green bell pepper.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And then, of course, we've got seasoning cubes here.
Seasoning cubes are spices. This is curry masala. This is smoked paprika. And these are salts.
Curry masala. Is
Yeah.
it different from normal curry?
Yes, this one is a mixture of thyme, coriander, curry. some
Oh,
herbs.
okay. So
Yes.
it's not. Oh, okay. All right. So that's why there's. Okay. So let's continue with the yam.
So we are dicing our plantain.
Our
now.
plantain, our
We are
plantain.
dicing
I
it.
know this is quite healthy food because you know we are talking about gizzard here. It's not the meat as it were. It's the entrails and all of that. And of course you have dodo. You can never go wrong with dodo.
Dodo, yeah.
By the way, and all of that. So yeah, but I know that people take it as a meal on its own, even without
Yes, without praying, you can take it
rice
as a
and all
food,
of that.
yes.
Okay, your rice is it already parboiled?
No,
We just washed it. Yeah. Okay. So take a look at the ingredients on the screen now. This morning, giz dodo pairing with rice, and of course, like we reeled out, you can take a screenshot: gizzard, tomatoes, scotch bonnet, cayenne pepper, onions, spring onions, bell pepper, spices, ginger, garlic, seasoning, and salt. That is what we are working with today. Okay, that's what we're working with today. So our water is getting ready. Is it time to put the rice inside?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the rice, is it going to be white rice or this is for the rice?
No, it's going to be white rice.
Okay.
We are using
all of
it
these
as a sauce.
as a sauce.
Yes.
Okay. So, oh, wonderful, wonderful. I get to see how all of this goes. Okay. So let's see. Our water is already boiled.
Yeah.
Do you boil water first before you add rice? I mean, I just watch the rice and put inside. Let the rice be boiling with the water.
Boil it together.
And then how about those that, I know for a long time, some people tell you that, okay, you have to wash rice the second time. And some would say you have to just, they don't mind. Once you wash it the first time, they're okay.
No, it is good to wash your rice very well. See your water turn to clean, very clean, white. Yes.
Can you do that at the first washing, like before boiling?
You have to wash like 2 to 3 times.
Okay.
Because depending on the rice, there's some rice that has much starch.
You're right.
You have to wash.
But then sometimes you might see the starch after you boil. So that washing after the first boiling, is it okay to always do?
It is not that necessary, but you can still parboil. But if you wash your rice very well, you don't need to parboil.
Okay, because some people will tell you that the starch or whatever, it makes it congeal, like come together and all of that. And that's why some people want to put oil.
But if you wash your rice very well, and it is a nice rice.
Okay.
There are some rice, even if you wash and parboil, they will become soggy.
Wow.
They will clot together.
Does it have to do with maybe local and foreign and all that kind of stuff?
I'm not sure. There are some local rice. If they don't tell you that it is local,
you wouldn't
know.
Okay.
So I think it just depends on the process of the rice.
The rice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we've gotten started here. Chef Walia is already cutting our to add plantain and all of that. The gizzard will come cut the gizzard.
Yes,
but we'll let you know. Yes, we'll let you know when we come back. We'll show you all that process. We'll just be done with the plantain. The rice is already in fire. We'll be back.
Now let's talk about self-care as a form of skincare. Now, today we're joined by Kesiana Anyeve. She is the founder of Inspired by You Company, a wellness company with over 8 years experience in delivering bespoke wellness solutions. So when you hear bespoke, you're thinking of outfits. But then we're talking bespoke wellness. Good to have you in the studio with us today.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you look the talk. That's the expression, right? You look the talk. So you're talking skincare. I see your skin glowing, and I'm like, okay, I want to hear what you have to say. So let's talk about self-care as a form of skincare.
Okay, let's start with the term self-care. What is self-care? Self-care is generally taking care of yourself. As women, we often take care of others, looking out for other people, and we hardly look within and take care of ourselves. And with the topic we're here to talk about, skincare, self-care. A lot of us think and assume that, when you just have a skincare product, you have like a good regimen, it works fine. In as much as it does work fine, sometimes you have to actually work from within out. And it's also now resonates to say skincare has to actually start from within. You have to take care of yourself properly, and so you can glow from within out.
So it's important to take care of yourself. Now, in what ways can you take care of yourself that would actually have effect on your skin?
Okay, rest. Rest is underrated. I always say we should always think about how many hours of sleep did you have last night?
I had 45 minutes.
Of sleep?
I'm not even kidding. Yes, I've been awake since 11:20, and I've not been able to sleep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've not been able
to bed around 10 something.
So you see, that's the thing. A lot of us are stressed and we tend to not sleep. And then while you sleep, your skin cells are rejuvenating, your cells are rejuvenating, but you're not having enough rest. Sometimes you're on the bed and you're tossing and turning. And so there are different strategies and tools that we use to help you sleep as well. I can name a few of them. You can journal. At the point where you're unable to sleep, you can do like a brain dump, because at that point your mind is working. You can do like a brain dump, get a journal, and pour out everything from your head onto paper. You can also meditate. I don't know if you do. It's a form of relaxation. It's also a form of self-care. It's a form to help you relax, right? You can do like some form of meditation. You can exercise. Do you exercise? Because when you exercise during the day, it helps you rest properly at night. Those are little tricks and tips that you always use that helps you and enables you sleep. And then you should also have like a proper rest routine. You just don't decide, oh, I want to sleep at any time. No, if you decide that you go to bed every day at 10 p.m., at 10 p.m., your body begins to shut. At 9:30, your body begins to shut down. And at 10, most times you're actually sleeping.
Believe me, I want to sleep.
We all do. We all should sleep.
I have all of this down to the letter. But you know when you have those tiny voices deciding that they want to stay awake overnight and there's nothing you can do about it. Exactly what happened to me. And it's been the case for a week now. So that's why.
So that's the thing. So you're stressed. And you have a lot going on in your mind. So that's why I said journaling would help you. Meditation would help. It would definitely help you. And then songs, you know, like when you do meditation, you have like songs around. And then the right ambience, you know, having a proper bath with the right products, lavender, burning candles. There's so many things that can help you relax.
About children?
Your children.
Aha, you don't have a choice there.
No.
If they decide you are going to stay awake, you will definitely have to stay awake. Because you don't want them hurting themselves in the middle of the night. You put them to bed, they decide that they don't want to sleep. You try as much as possible to be firm, to be stern. But then you have to stay awake to keep an eye on them.
How old are these kids? Because the thing is this.
Less than 2 years old.
Okay, did you give them sugar? Did you give them any form of sugar during the day? Did they sleep all through the
then
day?
They sleep around 4 and decide to be awake by 11 or 12. And when you say you can't sleep at 4, you are thinking of that time.
You see, something has to give in.
Exactly.
Something has to give in. So I'll advise you sleep when they sleep.
Well, you try, but then there are chores to be done if you're going to go to work early in the
Something
morning.
has to give in. You have to decide. You have to be gangster about it. You have to be deliberate.
I like that word.
You have to be very intentional and deliberate. Because really, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't actually take care of your kids. Yeah. You have to first be able to take care of yourself within the environment, everywhere you are. Take care of yourself so you can give. I think people that don't take care of themselves, I think they're selfish. Because really, I can't give what I don't have. I have to be able to be well-grounded, my mental state, my mind, everything has to be proper to be able to give out. And so if I have worked on myself, ideally, everything around me would just be...
That's like being in a plane crisis. You have to first wear your oxygen.
Oh, yes, before you're able to...
You're able to do that for your children. But away from rest, what other ways can you care for yourself?
Okay, so like you,
your skin.
So you can have like a proper skin regimen where you do normal cleansing, like we were taught in secondary school. You know, we used to all use like cleansers. You wash day and night. You know, less exposure to sun. Always do like a sunscreen. You know, moisturize properly. And then if you have skin issues, you should actually see a doctor to be able to tell. Sometimes it's stress related. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's actually something else. So you also need proper medication if need be, or you need to, because a lot of us just go to any skincare person and just say, well, I want to be light, or I want an even tone, without really knowing, right, what the problem is.
And some of these folks don't even conduct
a skin test or anything, yes, and they just give you products, you know. So you have to also be careful, especially what you put on your skin. You have to be careful. Always read the labels, because there are a lot of...
Many people don't.
Oh, yes. So there are a lot of products that shouldn't be used for our skin. Yeah. And of course, sun exposure it's a no-no. You always have to use like a sunscreen. Ensure that you stay off sun if you have to.
Now, for those who have employed all of this and yet they still struggle with their skin, what do you suggest? You try to sleep well, you use products, you do this, you do that, you have to do so many things.
Funny enough, sometimes it's even trauma-related.
The skin issue?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So that's why it's from within. You really can't tell until if you've tried everything, then maybe it's now mental. It now might be like something has triggered what's causing a breakout. With some women, something can trigger what would stop, change their hormones, and they're like having like a hormonal imbalance and all that, and that affects the skin. And so when we look at everything, you can now say, okay, maybe it's time to now check your stress level, check your hormones, check every other thing aside what you would normally do with, you know, just the skin regimen that you have.
Okay, so now let's talk about the things you can actually ingest to help you. Fruits.
Well, we also, and water. A lot of us don't take water. We're all, I mean, we do a lot of sugar, we do a lot of glucose, sugar, soda and all that. But we should take water, minimum 2 liters per day. You know, it helps you, it cleanses you, and then it helps you, you know, rejuvenate, and it helps you glow. As much as you can, dish soda and do water. You know, and then do your greens, do your vegetables. I mean, do carrots. It'll help you glow. If you see, some people will say like carrot products, but if you ingest it, if you take it in, you'll get the effects. Yeah, and so you know, so do like a fresh juice with carrots, with oranges and all that, and you would see the glow. So you should always do like do your proper meals. So like you can also see a nutritionist if need be, to be able to help guide what you should take and what you shouldn't take to help your hormones as well. And
so for the food, you're suggesting vegetables?
Vegetables, more vegetables, proteins, and less of carbs.
So less of carbs. Well, you know, there's some carbs that also function as fiber.
As fiber. So yeah, so you have to actually say, yeah, so just, it depends on what you're looking to get. Sometimes you're looking to just glow your skin. Sometimes you're looking to eat healthy. But we also have to realize that it's not a one-off thing. It's a lifestyle. So what you're doing is not something you start and not able to finish. You have to, yes. So it has to become a lifestyle. And so get fruits that you can.
Yeah. Kessie, thank you so much. Thank you. It's been quite an interesting conversation. And you know, all this talk about food and fruits is making me wonder what Mike is up to in the kitchen. He's just been whispering for the past 3 minutes. Mike, are you sure you are cooking? What are you up to?
No. I'm not cooking, I'm pounding.
I can tell. Wahala.
But yeah, yes, we are. Chef Wali, great to have you, of course. Yeah. And we're doing gizzard and rice today, yeah? Our dodo, if you can see it here, it's already frying the dodo. It's getting set here. The rice is already boiling. Oh. And I like this thing. Just like the way. Well, yeah, you can see I am hard at work.
Very, very.
You even see, she even confirmed it. You understand? So yeah, but yeah, we've already sliced the dodo, and I love the tiny bits you've sliced them into. Wonderful. This looks very nice. All right. So what next now? Our dodo is sliced. Our plantain is frying. Our rice is already boiling. What comes up next?
So when we are done with our dodo, we are going to fry our gizzard a little bit.
Okay.
So after then we'll fry our sauce. So everything goes in the gizzard and the plantain goes into the sauce.
All right. If you are just joining us, I am here with Chef Walia, and we are preparing gizzard pairing with rice. You can see the ingredients on the screen there: gizzard, tomatoes, scotch bonnet, cayenne pepper, onions, spring onions, bell pepper, spices, ginger, garlic, seasoning, and salt. So you can take a screenshot there. That is what we're doing. Just before, well, you didn't miss so much if you're just joining. That is, if we're talking about the kitchen here, we diced our plantains, or our dodo as it were. We're frying them, and then of course we're getting set for this one. I love gizzards. I think they're about the best thing when it comes to. Do people refer to gizzard as beef?
No, just gizzard.
Yeah, okay. So, but it's part of.
It's part of
beef. Some way or the other, yeah. But I love it. You know. Maybe for people that have issues with, or when you tell not to take red meat, gizzard is quite an option for you.
It's very
all right. That's quite a very good one there. So yeah, this is how do you like your dodo, by the way? Dark fried, or do you like it light?
Just a little bit, not too dark.
Not too dark, yeah?
Just golden.
Okay. Hey, come to director. You want to see the blood? You will see it. And director, of course, making sure that you have a shot of what we are doing here in the kitchen and all of that. So, like you said, you like it medium?
Yes.
Medium. But someone once said that at times the plantain color depends on how ripe it is.
The plantain is.
So if it's very ripe, you find out that it gets very dark.
Yeah, this one is just
moderate. Yes, it's mid.
And
it's mid-ripe.
more healthy than
than the very ripe one.
Why?
What's wrong with the very ripe one? What's
just the nutrient starts reducing.
Okay.
because it's going to the bad phase already. So even the unripe plantain is more healthier. There are some nutrients there that when it starts ripening, this one the nutrient is different. Yeah.
Oh, okay, wonderful, wonderful. I like that. Okay, so this is getting ready. Our rice is almost done. Now, when rice gets to this part, there's some parts where it starts falling to the side and all that. What do you do then? Do you take off the cover and all of that?
Yeah, you can just, like this cover now, it's okay. Because
Okay.
it's start escaping from that, so
here.
it won't really fall down.
Okay.
So, depending on the size of the rice you are cooking and the size of the pot
You are using. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. Okay. So you know what happens? We're still going to be. We're going to show you and prepare the sauce. We'll hold it down. We'll ensure that we get to you to see when everything comes together. But we have to take a break now. We'll take a short time and now. Stay with us. The second lap kicks right off after this time off.
Oh, we're here. Welcome back. It's the second hour here for the #1 breakfast show on Nigerian television. And of course, we know you guys loved the first hour. Wait until you see what we have for you guys left in the next 45 minutes.
The only thing I'm thinking of now is gizzards to arise.
Yes,
Like,
Mike.
I don't think you expect me to be thinking of anything else right now. Second hour, what's there?
I don't know.
Besides the fantastic guest we have.
Mike is a bit too.
It's just all over the place.
It's like, I don't know if he's sweet
As in-
again.
Unfortunately
I
for
don't even know.
the triple M is now only one M.
See?
Unfortunately for Martina and Mary,
what I
this
said?
thing will not touchable today.
Your investment.
Just focus.
We are 3MW today.
Just focus. Because, yeah, Chef Walia, we've already gotten our first trench of
Plant.
dodo already out. You gotten this, right?
Yeah, I'm
I can hear
done.
Mary whispering, Mary back to sender. That thing you are saying. But yeah, I would really love to show you guys maybe when she's putting the sauce together. So we'll get to that later.
You know
Who
what?
is going to let you show?
Listen,
Very
yeah,
proud.
yeah. This is what Mike reminds me of. Nice. When you walk into those fast food restaurants, they are nice. Mike, you're doing well.
I like that. It's their code, right? So
It's a
a
good
code to the chef, like, hey, are you ready or something? It's a nice one. It's like what do you call it? A call, beacon. What? That's
Something
the name I'm
I
thinking
don't
of.
have a specific name for it, but you get it though. It's a good
I
one.
do. I do.
One day
I
on
do.
the show, at the
I
end
do.
of the show, Mike is in the kitchen and there's nothing to serve the guests. We'll all be here to witness.
The guests
it.
will
But then, stay with us for the next 45 minutes to be a part of this exciting journey. My name is Mary Bashua Alimi.
And of course, my name is Mazino Appeal. Remember, you guys, you can use the hashtag and should. It is Wake Up Nigeria on TVC across all our social media platforms. Be a part of the show, please.
Yes, and now remember you can watch us across all social media platforms. You can watch us on Facebook, you can watch us on YouTube.
Yes.
Now you can also download the app, okay? So these are many ways you can watch us, be it on Google Play Store, iOS, just download and watch us live.
Probably are doing that on channel 16, GOTV. UHF's band 45, thank you very much. That's terrestrial. We implore you guys to follow us across all the social media platforms as well. Now, for what's left on the show here for a Tuesday, let's do music. A musical performance we have here, Adekunle Oluwatosin Stephen. He's also known as Stevane. He's a recording and performing artist. Exceptionally versatile is what they tell me. Well, we can't wait for his performance of Arabambi.
Yes, of course, Zainab J. Adubayero is a first-time filmmaker who had always been she's been a movie buff and lover of literature, born and raised in Kano. Today, she'll be telling us about a documentary. We can't wait for that one.
And Babatunde Hafsa Olayemi, she's a female biker that recently accomplished a remarkable solo ride across the northern part of Nigeria, all northern states actually, and also the Federal Capital Territory. The distance is equivalent to traversing across West Africa, is what we hear. We can't wait to hear her exciting experience.
So incidentally, yeah, this morning, of course, from yesterday, news broke about the tanker that exploded.
Benin Ore Expressway.
Ore Expressway and all of that. And then I was talking to our producer, Olamide, and then he asked the question that if this tanker had fallen in front of your house, would you be tempted to go scoop?
Considering
Because
the
before fuel was even gold as it is now, scooping has always been there.
Yeah.
Now,
Let's
speak
talk
less of now.
How would you be tempted? I'm just saying, imagine in front of your house, you're in first tanker and a tanker falls, and let's say it's evening, it's night.
It's only pride that will not let me go on.
Exactly,
It's only
that's what I'm
pride
saying.
that
Okay,
will
what
let
if
me-
it's night?
So I understand where you're coming. I plead the
Right,
fifth.
now
I
nobody
plead the
can
fifth.
recognize you.
No, listen, look, that tanker is spilling. I'm thinking about it now. When the tanker falls and it's spilling into the road, spilling onto water, so it's going.
Yeah.
What's it low? So you're saying, rather than the thing waste.
Let me just carry buckets.
Let me just carry one bucket and like almost 250 liters. Ogbeni, do you know what that is?
See, it's tempting, but when you think about the implications, like what happened yesterday, apparently it was reported perhaps that it was caused by a phone discharge or something like that.
Yeah.
I
Maybe someone
don't know.
calling someone,
Exactly. And that happens. That's the reason
well.
why you're asked not to use your phones at fueling stations. That
Yeah.
happens. It could have been anything. It could have been a spark. Could have been a passing vehicle or anything.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about the situation in the country. The fact is this year, we're getting poor. There's no divide anymore. You're either rich or you're poor. With everything that's happening, the kinds of crimes, along with the kinds of what people resort to make money, is changing. It's becoming very petty and ordinary, to the extent that even I might be tempted to scoop petrol if I was to find
Something
it
you
there.
wouldn't have even
Something I
thought of
wouldn't have thought
as
about.
even
There was
January.
also that case of a lady whose shop got broken into, and she sold petty stuff, ordinary stuff.
Yeah.
Her shop was broken into, as in elaborately, they had to like break the wall and everything to show you how desperate the thieves were. With everything happening in the country, these are what we're going to see more and more. People resort to these petty ways, petty crimes, and all of these, and even these kinds of instances where
Again, doesn't make it right.
it doesn't make
It
you
doesn't
right.
make it
never,
right. It's
never. We're just
unfortunate.
saying.
Suffering.
I don't know. There seems to be so many unfortunate things happening right now, and I'm using that word so much today. If you can help someone near you, please do.
Yeah.
I know it's tough already. It's really tough. Right now, I do not admire rich people because one rich person amongst poor people is already a poor person.
True.
Talk less of now in this state. So imagine you're obliged to take care of your brother's children or something. And at this point, their tuition has gone up.
Yeah.
You still have to think about feeding them. You still have to help them out in some ways. What is going to be left for you to do your investments and even
I'll
grow?
take what you said. If you can help someone, help them.
Please.
There is a certain influencer I follow, very modest guy. His name is Osita Popcorn. Find time to go through his page, Osita Popcorn. Now, I'm not one of those people who likes the way you put a camera in people's face and say,
People's
take
face
money.
and say, take money,
I
yeah.
don't like it. I detest it. But there is a certain way he is able to accomplish this without the pride, without the, you know.
You don't rub them off
He
there.
does, yeah. And I went through his page yesterday and I shed not just one tear, but because he was helping genuinely people who had no place to source money from or nothing to eat. He would encourage them and give him the little he had, 5,000 naira. And it really bubbled my heart. I really liked it. So if you can help someone.
Just as a round, please, for the few own, as much as the temptation, this temptation,
It's
we're not
tempting,
justifying the
but-
act. Please
Yeah.
don't do that.
Please
don't.
This has been since I grew.
Since I was a baby.
Child, I've
It's
always
always
heard
been
about
hearing
it.
that. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's as
Please,
much as possible.
Let's try as much as possible to stay.
All right, now.
Welcome back, and of course we are going to show you how we get to do the sauce, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get straight to it. Chef Wale, of course, is here. If you are just joining, well, it is Giz Dodo. We're doing pairing with rice, and we have all. We've already bought the rice, the dodo. The first trench is already out. We cut our gizzard, and now we are preparing the sauce. So we have our bell peppers, right? This is tomatoes, green bell pepper, right?
Yes.
And
Spring
spring onions. Okay. Of course, we're going to start with the oil and all of that. This is already done. I really want to get you to see the process. We have other spices here, right? This is our
Curry masala.
curry masala.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Because it's a mixture of curry, thyme, and some other stuff. And then, of course, we have
Smoked paprika.
smoked paprika. Paprika is not as spicy as
Yes.
normal pepper,
Normal
right?
pepper.
Okay, all right, good. Okay.
So our curry masala is going in.
Okay. I normally would put spice as like one of the last things, but you're starting with it.
We are starting with it because it's the oil makes it infuse the flavor. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Wonderful.
So we'll allow it eat up a little
A
bit.
little, eh? Okay. All right. I like. This is different from what I would normally do. I would normally put spices last after other things have come in. But yeah, but this is almost the most important part. My director is now reminding me to check the plantain. Okay. Ah, it's true. Eh? Let's take off the plantain.
Yeah.
Ah. Okay. MM, I can hear you. MM, of course, is in the PCRT this morning, and she says plantain is actually quite expensive.
Yes.
MM, you've not kept your promise. I'm calling you out on air. After how many years? After how many years, MM? This is for you.
So we are having
You've not kept your promise, okay?
we are having a pepper mix now.
Oh, okay, let's go there. All right, you can get to see this one now. Pepper mix is getting into the oil that already has the spices, right?
Yes.
Cooking is fun when you have a big kitchen and all of that. Chef Wale was asking me earlier on if I cook at home. I was like, well, it's not as expansive as this, so cooking is not always that fun. But when you have someone that knows what she's doing, like you do, it can be fun. It can be.
So we are going to add our salt,
Okay.
our seasoning,
Okay. Okay.
and we'll allow it to fry.
Do you want focus? Focus. Stop looking at Dodo. All right. Okay. So this is already inside there.
Yes.
Okay. How long will we let this go for?
5 minutes.
Okay. What next comes into
Then our
this?
plantain and
The
gizzard.
plantain and the gizzard.
Gizzard.
We'll have to let it.
Yes, we'll have to let it fry.
Okay. I'd have loved to show you this. But that's it. That's it. This is how it's prepared. So plantain and the gizzard will come in, and gizzard will be set to go with our rice. Oh, our gizzard is already coming in there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're frying the gizzard a bit.
Yes, we're frying.
Oh, lovely, 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 lovely. Lovely. Kenny, you're dancing. You're not going to look at this food, though. Kenny, of course, is one of my producers. And yeah, they're all dancing. Don't forget, don't dance. Nothing here. All right, that's it. We'll get to put all of this and we'll get to show you what it looks like when we are done. Okay? Stay with us. We'll take a time out now. There's still quite more to come on the show. Now, just before you saw a short clip of that documentary, you witnessed a wonderful performance from a multi-talented young man, Steven. Great one there. Now, moving on from that, we've got Zainab J. Adebayero, a first-time filmmaker who had always been a movie buff and lover of literature. Now, born and raised in Kano, her documentary focuses on her father, the former emir of Kano, seemed the natural progression, of course, if she wanted to get into the creative. It is great to have you. You are welcome.
Thank you so much.
What is the official title for the daughter of the emir? Is there a name? Is there a title or something? Traditionally, is there?
Sometimes they refer to the emir's daughters as Fulani in the north.
Okay, okay, yeah. Wonderful. It's great to have you. You're welcome. That's a good thing to talk about your family in documentary and all that. Now, just before you went into this, you tell us about growing up. How was growing up for you?
Growing up, I was just a normal girl.
Normal? Are you really? No.
Well,
okay.
I was raised by my mom, who happens to be from Edo State.
Okay.
So I'm half Fulani Hausa and half Edo.
Edo. Can you speak Edo, or can you speak your own language?
I understand it.
Okay. How about? But you can you speak Fulani?
No, Fulani, no.
Okay.
It's a really old language, and not everyone really speaks it.
All right, but, wonderful.
Yeah.
So where did the inspiration come from to talk about your family? Why did you decide to do that?
You know, I was brainstorming for some ideas for my first movie, and I had different ideas, but I decided with my mom that it would be great, you know, to talk a little bit about my family history, you know. The Fulani Caliphate has been existing for over 2 centuries now.
Yeah.
And it was founded by Usman Dan Fodio, an Islamic scholar, revolutionary philosopher. And this amazing dynasty has stood the test of time.
Exactly.
You know? So
from
it's
a very
an
long time.
Incredible story.
It is.
At its height, it was part of modern-day Cameroon and Niger, you know, but now it's basically the caliphate in northern Nigeria.
Where did you source for material for your documentary?
In Kano, actually.
In Kano, actually,
Yeah.
you were there live on ground and all of that. Because, you know,
Yes.
that somebody put up a documentary, does at times facts can be skewed in documentaries as such. How much did you try to keep to the facts, as it were, while sourcing for material for this documentary?
Yeah, you know, it's personal, so
It is, exactly.
so
which is,
it was easy to make sure, you know, the facts were real and there wasn't any kind of, you know, any kind of stuff that would be controversial or not the real story of what happened.
Of what happened,
I really
okay.
made sure of that. From books that were written about him, personal accounts of people talking about who
About,
he was, and the museum, which was featured
featured
also.
there. How did you relate with the people? How was the experience having, because you know, when you have to do the documentaries, you have to relate with people, they have to talk to you and all of that. How was the reception gathering information or gathering content for this
It
documentary?
was great. It was such a positive energy because
Oh, okay.
like everyone was so glad that I was doing this for my dad's memory.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
Because he was really admired and revered, you know,
all of that.
in the North. So being the first time that someone was
Putting this together.
putting this together after his demise,
demise.
was really like a great.
So ultimately, this is a story of the family and his life. That's what you're trying to put.
It's primarily about him.
Okay, primarily about him.
Yeah.
What do you want people to take away from this documentary?
It's a story about history and culture of an incredible dynasty and ancient city in Nigeria. You know, Kano has always been an economic hub in the history of Africa.
Very true, very true.
And it's one of the oldest cities in Africa, even before, you know, Nigeria became Nigeria.
Yeah,
Kano
definitely,
has always
definitely.
been like a metropolitan and hotspot for traders, merchants all over the world, I would say. And there's a lot of architectural marvels, like, you know, the city walls and stuff like that. And I went a bit into that aspect in the documentary too, because you can't talk about him without talking about Kano. Because his reign and everything about he was born and raised to Kano, so we kind of explored that also. But it's also basically about his life and times, and it chronicles, you know, his journey from a prince, you know, raised in the palace, and a young man working up the corporate ladder before finally ascending the throne of his forefathers, and then being the longest reigning monarch in the history of Kano.
Oh, now I just know that. You spoke to some dignitaries, some past presidents and all of that. Was it easy getting across to these people and having them speak?
Actually, those were archival footage.
Okay, those were archival footages.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
which will make reference to the story that related to the story.
Yes,
Wonderful, that's a great job.
Yeah,
That means
thank
that you
you.
did thorough job on being on doing
It
that.
wasn't easy.
Moving forward, what next for you? I mean, this is landmark. This is something that will stand the test of time for me, because I think that it's telling a story of history.
History.
Of course. Someone says that if you want to know, yes, if you want to know where people will go to, you have to look back to where they came from.
Exactly.
So, moving forward for you, are you going to focus just on documentaries? Would you want to go into filmmaking, fiction, and all of that? What's on the horizon for you?
I would definitely like to do more documentaries and definitely more movies, like you know, different kind of movies. I love thrillers. I love musicals.
Okay.
You know,
what's your favorite musical? Which one comes to mind?
Sound of Music.
Oh!
I grew
you
up,
had to mention that one.
I grew up on it, so.
The hills are alive. It is my. I grew up with Sound of Music also.
Yeah,
Sound of Music.
Julie Andrews was amazing.
So no one will ever beat that one. Even though Greatest Showman comes close, but it has to be Sound of Music.
Still the Sound of Music.
It has to be.
I love the Sound of Music. So
All
yeah,
right.
this is just the beginning, and I can't wait to create more.
I also cannot wait. I'll be looking forward to what you'll be doing moving forward. Zainab, it was a pleasure talking to you. Quite soft-spoken. We'll see what you're doing and see you at the top.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's it. We'll take a time out now. Stay with us. There's more to come on show.
And you are welcome back. It's our final segment here for today, and we have someone very interesting whom I'd like you to meet. Her name is Babatunde Hafsa Olayemi. She's a female biker, and she recently accomplished something not even male bikers could do. A solo ride covering an impressive 5,900 kilometers through all 19 northern states of Nigeria and the Federal Capital Territory, a distance that's kind of like equivalent to traveling across West Africa. Hafsa, you are welcome. Good to have you here.
Thank you. Good
We
morning.
finally get to meet for the first time. We've had interactions on social media. I've congratulated you on your fit. I've talked about your traveling and all, but this is the first time we're actually meeting in person.
Yeah.
And along with everybody else, we're very curious. For the first time, I'm asking you now, with Nigeria in view, how did you accomplish such a great fit? Please tell us.
Good morning. How I was able to do that was because when I started riding, I love to explore. I love to be able to go to places. And when I heard about a trip to Gombe, I told my friend I would like to go. But I felt going down to Gombe alone will not be too much fun for me. So I just said, okay, let me try and do the whole of North. When I said that, my friends were like, how? Do you know what you're saying? I said, yes, I feel I should go. People go there and come back.
Yeah.
So at first, everybody did not agree. But later, we sat down, think about to make it happen, the security part, the whole thing. And when that was done, started the trip July 4th. I got to Abuja. From there, then continued to the next state, Benue, to Gombe.
So you did this for how many days in a row?
21 days.
21 days. Who gives you leave of 21 days? I mean, because I imagine that you have a job and everything. You took out 21 days. There's plenty of questions regarding the North. I've been biking for 17 years, 18 years actually, and I have not done what you have done to travel around the North. The courage, first of all, that's a big one. And then the fact that you're also female. So how did that play into things? Did you consider, I'm a lady and I'm riding through the North? How did people accept you when you went to these different places?
Before leaving the house, I was told the northern parts, most people don't accept their ladies to do things. And that kind of feel somehow to me. I was told when I get to the North, avoid removing your helmet. So in order not for them to know that I'm a girl or something. But by the time I started the trip, got to some places, whenever I even speak, they were like, are you a lady? I said, yes. When I remove my helmet, everybody is always glad, like, wow, this is truly a lady.
So the reception was good?
The reception was awesome, even more than what I expected.
Really?
Yes.
So it's not as bad as we think, because most people think that this is very insecure. Most people think that people might not, especially that you're a lady, might not receive you properly, but it was a totally different experience.
It was a totally different experience because by the time I started the trip, when I was on the road, we've talked about the insecurity part. I was restricted to ride during the day, no night ride.
Okay.
So wherever I get to, when it's getting dark, I just have to sleep over, lodge in an hotel, then continue my movement the next day. And by the time I was able to, I was getting to some stages, I was getting tired, truly.
Yes,
and I was getting encouragement by friends. Like, they're always eager to meet me, like, where are you now? Okay, we'll meet you here, they'll join me. And that gave me more zeal to go ahead and be able to accomplish the whole 19 states. Because 19 northern part is not...
19 states.
It's not,
so what was it like? All 19 states. Tell us, in a general way, what it was like. How beautiful is Nigeria? Because I try to tell people myself, but nobody kind of like understands why I do it. So you've been to 19 states. What is Nigeria?
Nigeria is a good place to be. It's peaceful. It's just the interpretation of people. Some people believe what they heard, but I was able to see it for myself. When I got to Katsina, the hospitality, it is really, truly a home of hospitality.
Wow.
Because I was overwhelmed. I was received by people.
You were overwhelmed.
In fact, I was received by people. I was given different reasons to be there. They don't want me to go. When I got to Kano, the same reception. These people are not like, they are not even mean. They are, whenever I get there, when they see me, a lady doing this, they want me to meet their family, to show them that this is a lady doing something. So you can achieve it. I just feel...
Did it help that you're Muslim as well? Did that help as well?
As a Muslim, well, I think so. Because generally, religious... Even when I met the Christians, they are not even bothered about my religion. They
Fantastic.
I don't understand Hausa, so I just greet good morning, or I try to use my hand to express. And once they get the information, we just communicate.
Wow, that's beautiful. So how did you travel? You had a top box. The top box is the little box at the end of your bike. What was inside? Did you have a toolbox? Did you experience mechanical issues? Did you fix it? I have questions. I know what happens on the road, but how did you manage it? What comprised of your top box?
My top box, I had my provisions, my clothes, and my tools. Even though I don't really have 100% knowledge of this, anything happened. But thank God, at some point I had issue.
What was your biggest issue, your biggest
My
challenge?
biggest issue was I had a cat eat me.
No.
But thank God I was safe. So I was able to fix that within days. And I was able to continue my journey. There was a time I had chain issue. I'm always having chain issue. I don't know. So I was able to call, you know, one thing about biking what is, once you call someone, there is always someone at the other end to receive you. So immediately I had that issue. I was able to call one or two and they came to my rescue and fixed the bike immediately and I continued my journey.
Well, let's go back to the part where a car hit you. What state was this? What happened?
So it was Gombe. I was heading out of a venue thing. It was just a little one, but then I never knew it's going to take me like more than a day to fix.
Okay. Wow.
So it's just like
that's interesting. But you know the funny thing about it, and I'll tell you guys, whatever happens while you're on these trips, whether good or bad, it's always a part of the experience.
Of course.
And it always builds your morale, builds your courage. You want to do more. Now, it's fantastic. I want us to show a chart, if we can, please, a chart of all the 19 states. We have a chart of everywhere that you visited. You started from Lagos to Abuja.
I started from Abeokuta.
From Abeokuta, sorry. Yes, from Abeokuta. And then you got to...
Akure, from Akure to Jeba, Abuja, to Lassa, Lafia, Benue, Bauchi, then to Gombe.
Yeah, there's the chart there. Yeah. There's the chart there. Very interesting. Bauchi, Gombe, Adamawa. Taraba is a place I'd love to be. I'd love to go. And then Adamawa, Borno. You have traveled far more than I have across Nigeria. And you've been biking for how long?
I started biking last year, September.
Jeez.
So I'm less than
So you've done this in less than a year of biking.
Yes.
Wow, what can I say about myself? I've been doing this for 18 years and I haven't ever done this. I feel so belittled. Maybe I should come to you for tips. Okay, so to everybody out there who has maybe a less than informed perception of bikers generally, what do you have to tell them, especially as a female biker?
We are all human beings. We should treat each other equal. We should be nice to each other. And I feel the way people see bikers, they feel these people are not serious or not responsible. But we are good people too. I was able to explore this state because people that received me are bikers and more other people. I think we should all have a different reception about bikers. We are human beings and we are good people too. Biking is fun. Join us and see.
Exactly. Human beings, we're family men, family women, we have relatives and all of that. It was an awesome experience, I bet. You also have trips that traverse into other countries. You've been to Port Novo before. What should we be looking forward to? What's your next trip? Where are you going?
My next trip should be Senegal.
Senegal. That's a long one. That is absolutely long. Well, tell you what, I hope to be on that trip with you. If you let me know the date, I will oil my chains and polish my boots and I'll be right behind you. Hafsa, it's great to have you here and congratulations for achieving that in under a year of riding. Well, hey, we applaud you, but we will not let you go because we want to bring you over into the kitchen where you must have something before you set off again today. Mike has been cooking. Mike is that guy over there. Come on over, come on over, come on over.
Okay, so we are here and great to have two wonderful ladies here doing wonderful things. And incidentally, most of what you did is in the north and also Chef Walia.
Fantastic. I did not this was did we plan this?
Today,
yeah. But you know, see, so Mazido, normally when people say come and join us like a conference, like, oh, we're having a conference tomorrow, come and join us. You just want to say, wait, biker, come and join us. Who will buy the bike for me? I want to join. Okay, I want to join. What's the average price for a bike? Average.
So please
tell me.
Go ahead.
Average price.
The price of a bike is just like owning a car.
Okay.
Go for what you can afford.
So with 1.52, can I get 1.5?
You should be
able
to get.
Not Okada or power bike. Okay. But yeah, we'll join where we can. But yeah, we made this. Oh, Chef Walia, talk to us about what you made. It's you now.
Okay, welcome. I make giz dodo. So we are pairing it with rice, white rice.
Okay, so you want to have a taste? Try it out and let's see what you think about it. Okay, just try. Okay, let's go. Let's see what you think. And I'll know if I'll buy your bike from you. How many bikes do you have, by the way?
Mike,
Oh,
if you're
just
gonna,
one.
Just one. Imagine, okay, no, okay.
say again.
Are they able to have more than one bike at the time?
I've got 2.
It's okay. And with your 2, you have
Stop
still
looking at me
done
like that.
as
Don't
much
look-
as a 1-year-old.
Ogbeni,
You're 18 years.
Right to our first.
What do you think about it? What do you think about it?
It's lovely. I
All
like
right.
it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a
Fantastic.
pleasure having
Well
both of
done.
you.
Thank
and
you.
this is all of us here saying we wish you the best and, you know, go further. Live your dreams. Well done.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic today. Yes, I've been inspired by you
South
all.
Africa next.
Amen. Thank you, everybody who joined us from 7 a.m. If you didn't, well, you missed out if you're only just joining us. But you can catch it on YouTube. Make sure that you do as TVC Entertainment, R.TV on YouTube. And, of course, hey, we'll catch you guys again tomorrow for another edition. Maybe you catch that one for a Wednesday. Thank you, and goodbye, everybody.
Bye.